Should really put some earrings in. I wouldn't want them to grow in, but can that still happen after 9 years? Better safe than sorry. There are some benefits to having long hair too. Number 1, you can put them in a whole bunch of updos. Also, you can swish and flick it around. And you can... Well, actually, I guess that's it. Seriously? I think I need to rethink some choices in my life. I haven't had short hair since I was in grade 5. It was a happy time in my life, and not just because I was holding koalas. I cut off for cancer too, but my hair was just long enough. It was great. Most days I didn't even bother brushing at all. Anyway, I think your hair looks really good. I'm super excited for this school year too. I'm taking so many interesting courses like physics and academic leadership and theater productions. And we're studying the 20th century and socials this year, which I find fascinating. And not to mention, we're doing Macbeth in English. I cannot wait for Macbeth. We did Romeo and Juliet last year and I really enjoyed it because it's a classic. I mean, it survived hundreds of years. It's from a different time. And not to mention it's Shakespeare. Man is truly a genius. The way he wrote and manipulated the language, all the sonnets and puns and double meanings and imagery and description. But the thing is, the story isn't exactly my genre. If it was written today by another, I probably wouldn't even read it. But Macbeth, kings and curses and witches and murder, now we're talking. Also, this year we're doing Lord of the Flies. But good courses are nothing without good teachers. But this year I'm happy to say that I think I have great teachers, at least as sure as I can be after a couple days. Take physics, for example. I don't mind physics. I just like biology and chemistry better. But as far as subjects go, it's not that bad. I find the concepts really interesting, like the Big Bang Theory and quantum mechanics and string theory and the shape of the universe. But what actually happens in the class, I still enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but every now and then there's a unit that I really enjoy, but I'd rather be dissecting something. I can already tell that I'm going to have a lot of fun in physics class this year, though, simply because of the teacher. One of the first things he did was give us a test. A test to tell how nerdy we are. Not to brag, but I fell in the super nerd category. And he was in the nerd god category. This is going to be a good year. Don't worry, you're not the only one. This is my physics textbook. Although those of us who don't go to a fancy computer school have to use whatever tools are available to them. Namely, the original meanings of cut and paste. Kids these days have no idea what these are. You're right about how it's fun to see people again, though, although most of the time they're not like how I remember. Take all the guys in my grade, for example. In June, they were here, and now they're here. And this leaves me like... What I also find interesting is how teachers execute the first class of the year. Most, if not all, state their rules and give a low blurb about themselves. But they all do it differently. The big topic I find is, of course, cell phones. Most teachers give the standard, if you use them, I will take them away, which I find usually results in... But a couple said, you're old enough now that I trust you to know when to use them at appropriate times. Which I think is a smart plan, but it still has a few holes. One took it a step further, though. He said that because we took that course, he knew that we were, on average, the top 15% of our graduating class. Therefore, he knew that we were smart enough to know when a smartphone would be distracting or useful. In short, he made it so that you'd be insulting your own intelligence if you used a smartphone in class. Suddenly, I started to see this. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there like, I see what you did there.